All right, let's dive right in. We're plunging deep into the Amazon, a world that is just teeming with life, but it's also a world of deep, dark mystery. You see, it's home to creatures that have inspired both awe and, let's be honest, absolute terror. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on some of its most fascinating and most frightening inhabitants. So that leads us to the big question, right? What is actually lurking in this massive green wilderness? Because beneath that thick canopy and down in those murky waters, there are secrets that science is still, to this day, trying to figure out, and dangers that have been the stuff of legends for centuries. To even begin to get a handle on the Amazon, you've got to wrap your head around its sheer scale. We are talking about an ecosystem that stretches over 2.1 million square miles. That is so vast that entire worlds can and do exist inside it, completely hidden from us.
And the density of this place, it's just staggering. It's estimated that the rainforest is home to something like 390 billion individual trees. Think about that. That creates a canopy so thick, a world so complex, that it's basically the perfect hiding place for countless mysteries.
The biodiversity here is, well, it's off the charts. We know of over 16,000 different tree species. But get this, scientists think that there are millions of plants and animal species in the Amazon that are still completely undiscovered. We've barely even scratched the surface. So, from that massive, almost overwhelming scale, let's zoom way in and focus on one specific legend, a creature that really embodies the Amazon's raw power and mystery, the anaconda. For ages, locals have called them river monsters, even guardian spirits. The myths, the stories, they talk about snakes over 33 feet long. But the reality? Oh, the reality is just as mind-blowing. We're talking about a scientifically verified apex predator, one that can grow up to 26 feet long and weigh over 440 pounds. The truth is terrifying enough, you don't even need the myths. And this behemoth, it hunts with pure, raw, muscular power. It doesn't bother with venom. Nope. It's a constrictor. It ambushes its prey, wraps that massive body around it, and then, with every single breath the victim tries to take, the snake just tightens its grip until the heart finally gives out. This incredibly powerful way of hunting makes the anaconda the undisputed ruler of its domain. It's a true king of the Amazon's waterways. So, what does it take to run a constrictor's kingdom? Well, its hunting strategy is just a masterclass in deadly efficiency. It all starts with the ambush, lying perfectly still, totally hidden in that murky water. Then comes the explosive strike and the coil, trapping the prey in a grip there's just no escaping. After that is the crush, that slow, suffocating end. And finally, the feast, where it swallows its victim completely whole.
So what's on the menu for a king like this? We are not talking about small fry here. Anacondas have been known to take on caimans, wild boars, even deer. They just unhinge their jaws and swallow them. They totally dominate the food web. Everything from giant fish and those unique pink river dolphins to large mammals that just wanted to get a drink from the riverbank. And all this power, this incredible ability to take down such huge prey, it naturally leads to a question I know you're thinking right now. What about us? What about humans?
Do anacondas actually attack and eat people? It's the question that has fueled horror movies and campfire stories for, well, forever.
You know, the official answer is unsettling. Confirmed cases are almost non-existent in the records. But the local folklore? That's filled with chilling stories. Tales of mysterious disappearances where the only thing left behind was a long, wide slide mark leading from the riverbank down into the dark water.
So, the anaconda is a singular, massive threat, right? A solitary giant that rules its territory. But in the Amazon, danger isn't that simple. A completely different kind of terror is surfacing in those very same waters. See, we've been focused on size, on solitary power. But in the Amazon, sometimes the most terrifying things come in much, much smaller packages. Sometimes the real danger lies in numbers. And that brings us to our final chilling thought for today. We've just seen what one giant predator can do. So what happens when the killers hunt in a pack? And on that note, we're going to leave you for now. Because the lone giant, is just the beginning. Make sure you like and subscribe because in part 2, we are diving headfirst into the water with the truly bloodthirsty warriors of the Amazon. You don't want to miss it. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're diving deep into the murky waters of the Amazon River. Down there, it's a whole other world, and we're about to meet two of its absolute masters, the assassins and the shockers that run these waters. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That one sentence, it just pulls you right into this hidden world of danger, doesn't it? It's the perfect way to remember that just because the surface of the river looks calm, what's happening underneath is anything but peaceful. But before we meet our subjects, you really have to appreciate the sheer scale of their home. The Amazon isn't just a big river, it's practically a force of nature. It's so massive that it pushes fresh water hundreds of miles out into the Atlantic Ocean, actually changing the ocean's chemistry. It's just incredible. Exactly. So when you have an environment this huge, this humid, this packed with life, well, it becomes the perfect stage for evolution to get really, really creative. It's like a pressure cooker that creates some truly unique and, let's be honest, kind of terrifying specialists. All right, let's get to it. Time to meet our first celebrity predator. You know, when you think of scary things in the Amazon, this is probably the first fish that swims to mind. We're talking about the notorious river assassin, the piranha. So let's just tackle the big one right away. This is the scene from the movies, right? The unsuspecting cow wades in, the water boils, and poof, a few minutes later, just a skeleton. It's a horrifying thought for sure. But is there any truth to that legend? Well, as it turns out, the reality is a little more nuanced. They aren't these mindless monsters just attacking everything in sight. Actually, most of the time, they swim in schools for protection. But, and you knew there was a but coming, when certain triggers get pulled, say the scent of blood in the water, or when they're starving, that killer instinct absolutely takes over. And this is where their anatomy comes in. It's like they were perfectly engineered for this exact job. Their teeth aren't just sharp, they're these little triangular razors that interlock perfectly. It turns their mouths into something like a pair of shears, letting them slice right through flesh and bone. So when a school of an aggressive species like the red-bellied piranha, Pygocentris natareri, goes into that feeding frenzy, yeah, it's pretty much game over. And get this, there are more than 60 species of piranha, and a lot of them are actually vegetarians. They eat fruits and seeds. But then you've got this one. The black piranha. This guy is a true heavyweight, punching way, way above its weight class when it comes to bite force. 30 times its own body weight. Just think about that for a second. For a person, that would be like having a bite force of thousands of pounds. Relative to its size, it's one of the most powerful bites in the entire animal kingdom. And it's that incredible, focused power that makes them so devastating. Okay, so we've talked about a weapon you can see, those razor-sharp teeth. Now let's switch gears to a weapon that's completely invisible, high-voltage electricity. It's time to meet the Amazon's living power plant, the electric eel. And no, that is not an exaggeration. People have actually seen it happen. A horse goes to take a drink from the river, and bam! It gets hit with a jolt so powerful it literally knocks the animal off its feet. It is, without a doubt, one of the most unbelievable weapons in all of nature. Let that number really sink in for a moment. 600 volts. The outlet in your wall is about 120 volts here in the US. This animal is swimming around with the power of 5 wall sockets combined, ready to go off at a moment's notice. And here's a cool little biology tidbit for you. Despite the name, the electric eel isn't actually an eel. It's a type of knife fish, which is a whole different group of fish. It just goes to show you, sometimes the names we give things don't tell the whole story. So how in the world does it make all that electricity? Well, it's a masterpiece of biological engineering. Its body is packed with thousands upon thousands of special cells called electrocytes. The easiest way to think about it is like they're thousands of tiny little batteries, all lined up in a row. And when the eel wants to attack, it sends a signal and they all discharge at the exact same instant, creating one massive, crippling shock. But what's really amazing is that it's not just a simple on-off switch. They have incredible control over it. They can send out a constant, low-voltage pulse that works like a kind of radar, helping them see and navigate the dark water. But when it finds prey or feels threatened, it unleashes the full, high-voltage blast.
So, we've met the Rivers Razors gang and its living power plant. What's the big takeaway here? Are these things just monsters?
Not at all. I think the easy thing to do is label them as villains. But really, we should see them for what they are. They're masterpieces. Each one is a perfectly designed, highly specialized solution to the problem of staying alive in the Amazon. When you break it down like this, you can see the simple, brutal elegance of it. The piranha's strategy is overwhelming force through teamwork. The eel's strategy is overwhelming power through, well, pure energy. They're two totally different approaches, and both are incredibly effective. And that's really the thought to leave on, isn't it? The piranha and the electric eel, these are the amazing creatures we know about. In a place that is so vast, so deep, and so unexplored, you just have to wonder, what other evolutionary marvels are still out there waiting to be found in those dark waters?
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a world of superlatives, a place that guards secrets far, far beyond what you can see on the surface. We're talking about the Amazon, a land of myth and mystery that, believe it or not, is still revealing its hidden wonders to us today.
So just to get a sense of the sheer scale we're dealing with, try to picture this. The Amazon rainforest blankets over 2.1 million square miles. I mean, that is an ecosystem so ridiculously vast, it stretches across 9 different countries. If the Amazon were its own country, it would be the 7th largest in the entire world. It's just a staggering amount of land to wrap your head around.
You've probably heard it called the green lung of the earth, right? Well, there's a good reason for that. It's home to something like 390 billion trees, and it pumps out about 20% of the world's oxygen. But honestly, beyond what we can see and measure, the Amazon's real marvels are the secrets it's still keeping. Okay, so when you think of the Amazon, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's the legendary predators, the powerful creatures that have come to embody the wild, untamed spirit of the jungle. All right, let's just take a look at this incredible lineup. You've got the Anaconda, a 440-pound crushing machine, piranhas with a bite force 30 times their own body weight, the electric eel, which can zap something with enough voltage to stun a horse. But it's the vampire bat, that silent hunter of the night that operates with a totally different kind of power, one of almost surgical precision. Let's break down how this little guy operates, because it's fascinating. It's nothing like a horror movie. It targets sleeping livestock, cattle or horses, and lands on them without making a sound. Then, as you see here, it uses these razor-sharp little teeth to make a tiny, perfect incision. And get this, it doesn't suck the blood, it laps it up. But the final step, that's the real kicker. Its saliva has an anticoagulant in it, which keeps the blood from clotting. This is so effective that scientists are actually studying it for medicine. It's less of a monster and more like a master surgeon of the night.
But the Amazon's most profound mysteries aren't always the creatures we can see. To uncover one of its biggest secrets, we have to go deep underground, into a hidden world that no human has ever actually laid eyes on. This very question is exactly what drove a team of Brazilian scientists. And their research, which came to a head back in 2011, led them to a discovery so staggering it sounds like it's straight out of a science fiction novel. This table really lays it out. Meet the Hamza River, flowing thousands of feet directly underneath the Amazon River. It's almost as long, but just look at the width, up to 250 miles wide. That's not a river, that's a subterranean ocean. And it moves at a crawl just a few yards a year, in absolute eternal darkness, a truly colossal hidden world. So the existence of the Hamza, a world of total darkness, immense pressure, and who knows what temperatures, it just begs this thrilling question. Could anything possibly live down there? Well, the answer might be found with a unique class of organisms we call extremophiles. Now, while no life has actually been confirmed in the Hamza yet, some scientists speculate it could be absolutely teeming with unique microbes and other extremophiles. And you know what? It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. We found life in some of the most hostile places on Earth, from bacteria thriving next to super hot deep ocean vents, to the Greenland shark, which lives for centuries in the freezing, crushing depths of the Arctic. If life can exist there, why not in a hidden river beneath the Amazon? From the crushing, dark, and probably freezing depths of the Hamza, our journey now takes us to another wild extreme, from a hidden world of cold to a river that literally boils. For centuries, this was just a legend, a story whispered among local communities. They called it Shane Tempishka, which basically means boiled with the heat of the sun. It wasn't until a geoscientist named Andres Russo actually went and documented it that the world learned the myth was real. A river, shrouded in steam, hot enough to cook anything that falls into it. Its waters can reach nearly 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius. That is literally the boiling point of water. It is so hot, it could give you third-degree burns in an instant and will kill just about any living thing that is unfortunate enough to fall in. But here is the great mystery. Boiling rivers are almost always connected to active volcanoes. This one? It's over 400 miles away from the nearest one. The main theory is that there's a massive, undiscovered geothermal system deep within the Earth powering it. But the sheer amount of energy needed to heat up a whole river this size, well, it remains a huge scientific puzzle. For the local Ashaninka people, this river isn't a puzzle. It's a sacred place. They believe it's the physical home of a powerful forest spirit, Yaku Mama, the mother of the waters. Their legends tell of giant fire serpents and other spirit animals that protect these boiling waters. It's a place where science and myth just flow together as one. But maybe, just maybe, the greatest secret the Amazon holds isn't a hidden river or a legendary creature. It's a forgotten history, an entire civilization completely swallowed by the jungle and lost to time. For centuries, we saw the Amazon as this pristine, untouched wilderness, a place mostly uninhabitable by large populations. But using this revolutionary tech called LiDAR, it's kind of like an aerial X-ray that uses lasers to see right through the forest canopy, archaeologists have uncovered a shocking truth that is completely rewriting history. Beneath the jungle floor, hidden for hundreds of years, lie the remains of massive urban centers. As this timeline shows, complex societies like the Cassarabe culture built these vast networks of roads, canals, plazas, even pyramids. This wasn't just a few scattered tribes. This was a landscape of organized, thriving communities. And this, of course, leads to the biggest mystery of all. Why did they vanish? What on earth happened to the millions of people who lived here? There are theories, of course, everything from drought and warfare to the arrival of devastating diseases from Europe. But the real truth remains buried, just waiting to be uncovered. So, what all of this really shows is that everything we think we know about the Amazon, from its iconic predators to its hidden rivers and its lost cities, is really just us scratching the surface. It's a living, breathing world of secrets that are still out there, waiting to be found. Which really leaves us with a profound question. We found rivers running beneath rivers and entire cities lost to time. So what other secrets, biological, geological, or historical, are still waiting patiently beneath that endless green canopy? What else is the Amazon hiding?